You found your person. Now let the Knot help you with everything else. The Knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. Or if you follow us online on Twitter, EPEEP for short. I am Wrestling Chris G, and featuring with me today, wow, already jumbling my words. This is going to be a fun podcast. On the other line with me today is my co-host. He is the one that's all ghostly and good looking. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
Y'all laughed at me when I say, I've been working on intros and stuff. Y'all just think it's so easy. I could hear the struggle.
Yeah. The struggle was there. Like, I don't know. Normally I'm a lot more prepared. Like you know this. I know this. But today on this episode, I'm not fully all that. I'm not all here. And there's a lot that's been going on, like outside of us recording and us finally sitting down and getting to the recording. And I was in a different room, but when I was in that room, you had my daughter screaming in the background, and just I was like, oh my goodness, I need a quiet room to do this episode. This was fun. We were supposed to start at 8 o'clock. It is now 8:52.
Yeah.
The struggle is real. I ordered Chinese.
I mean, I've been ready. I mean, I'm just throwing it out. I mean, I've been ready.
Hey, don't throw me under the bus now.
I'm trying.
But yeah, this was a good episode that we're getting ready to go over. The episode is called Ghost of Maiden's Peak. This is episode 20 in the Pokemon series, and translated from Japanese, it is called Ghost Pokemon and the Summer Festival. You know, I actually like the Japanese version more than I do the English version, because the Japanese version makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very creative in terms of a title, but it gets to the point.
Yeah.
It's like there's a ghost Pokemon, there's a summer festival. It's 20 minutes. What else do you want?
Exactly. So, all right. So in this episode today, this episode started August 12th of 1997 in Japan and premiered here in the U.S. October 2nd of 1998. And as you've been following this podcast, we like to pick a day, pick something that happened on this date sometime within the existence of Earth. So, Doug, as always, for some reason, the past beats me every single fucking time with the damn date. You're going first this week.
Look, I was gonna go first regardless. I just happen to have time to switch it up and still beat you.
I swear you do it on purpose. You kick me when I'm down.
I know. How is it if I deliberately went before you? It'd be different, but I was going before you regardless. I just switched in between your room shift.
Yeah, and you won't tell me this one, so the time is now. We're here. What is your surprise for me on this date of October 2nd?
So I was going to go lazy and do something baseball related. because I said, and spoiler, there's probably going to be a handful of these.
In October.
Well, possibly, because I mean, we're recording these in October. Obviously, you're hearing these; it's getting towards the end of the year. Um, and but we only got a handful of those left, so who knows really. Um, but I found this one while we were kind of jiggering things around, and I kind of like it, so I'm going with it. So on October 2nd, 1995, Oasis, the British rock band, released their second studio album, parentheses, What's the Story, parentheses, Morning Glory. And you say, well, it's a big deal. Dozens of
Yeah.
albums get released every day. This is the album that had their smash hit Wonderwall on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I wish we had rights to that.
Yeah.
I would
because
put it in the background.
They would
know.
come after us. They would hard. They wouldn't give a shit about nothing.
They're like, yeah, you're gonna pay us this, this, and this. How long were they playing our song? Okay, we're gonna hit them with this.
So obviously Wonderwall is the one that jumped out. But in doing just the barest minimum of digging, this album also included the tracks Champagne Supernova, which I'm sure
not sure if I know that one.
Well, and that's one of those where I'm sure you would know it if I could play it.
Gotcha.
I'm sure you would know it.
Can you sing us a little tune?
I'm trying to get the lyrics up. Because this is one of those, because it's it's mid '90s, right? So you're talking like, you probably heard it in like 15 movies and haven't realized it.
Oh, I'm sure I did. And Doug is looking it up.
I can't spell is the problem.
I graduated elementary.
No, I didn't so much graduate. They gave me one and said, "Get out of here." Champagne. I'm gonna end up hitting the fucking YouTube link, and we're gonna get killed.
So okay. Well, as you look it up, don't play the song, but if you can find it, I'm gonna go ahead and say what mine is, and then we can circle back to yours if you can maybe sing us a little tune, like a 5-second tune, and so I know what song it is. But
I'm just trying to find the fucking chorus because I know that's where it comes in, and that's where I could get you.
Well, you mind me going over to mine?
Okay, here's where I'm not gonna sing it because I'm a horrible. And you say, Doug, you did chorus. Well, I know, but I fucking shut up. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova. That's what's gonna get you. Like if you could hit go on a YouTube link, you go, I've heard that song in a million movies, and I wasn't paying attention to.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now as we speak, so I can kind of play it in my ears while we're doing this, and hopefully we're not about to get dinged. But if we do, I will take it right out.
And it would be your fault.
All right, so it's called Supernova.
Champagne Supernova.
Champagne Supernova.
And that's I couldn't spell champagne. That was where I was fucking getting dinged.
There it is. All right. Let's wish me luck. I'm hitting this right now. Oh, they look like the Beatles.
That's racist.
They do.
I don't know how, but that's racist.
Oh, I do know this song.
Yeah, see, I told you. All it would take is it's not even into the lyrics. You just need the melody.
Yeah, in every sad movie ever.
Yeah. It's Oasis,
Okay.
man. So I just kind of want to put a bow on the release of the album. In its first week, that's 7 days now, not a month, a week, it sold 347,000 copies.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not terrible.
No, and people are probably rolling their. This is before you could just download an album on Spotify at midnight.
Yeah, you had to physically go out to the store and hope that they had your CD. I cannot tell you how many CDs I've gone to Best Buy for when Best Buy actually used to have racks upon racks of
Yeah,
CDs and just going there searching for a CD and then finding out that Best Buy sold out on it.
yeah, or they didn't care. So, and uh, just a fun little tidbit about Oasis. The um, the lead singers, Noel and their brother. God damn it, brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher, right? Hated each other, and probably still do to this day.
But they did music together.
Just hate each other. Just, I mean, if you're an Oasis fan, don't hold out hope for a reunion tour.
Gotcha.
And
So,
they did music from 91 to 09. So just imagine that amount of hate for that amount of time.
well, I mean, I guess when you're making that kind of money, you can continue to do what you're doing.
That's a fair point.
Because if me and you hated each other, but we had a $12 million podcast deal, Doug, and I was like, well, we got to finish up these last 2 years, even though I hate your ass, we got to do it. Would you
I
do
don't
it?
know. I don't know. I still might tell you to fuck off.
I might come over there and punch you and be like, you're costing me $12 million.
Because think about it. That's at the current clip we're going, that's spending 2 hours a week with somebody that I can't stand. And it would just be over audio, but I can't stand his fucking voice.
This is how we really feel, everybody.
It's all coming out.
So, all right. So, since yours was back in the 90s, mine, of course, is a little further than that because Doug went first. Just saying. Mine happened in 2001. And this is on NBC in 2001, October 2nd. Scrubs premiered on NBC. Great show.
One of the most underrated shows, I think, in television history.
Yes. And I love the dry humor in the show as well. Because, I mean, yeah, it does have its comical features, but I think it's more the dry humor that goes on when they're in the hospital that just took the show to where it needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, the running joke among like people in TV was like Scrubs. It's the best show you're not watching. So like they knew it was good, but it wasn't like because you're like competing with Friends, or I mean, and granted, the later years of Friends, but you're still competing with Friends on that network.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is right in the middle of must see TV. So like you had to be parked in front of your TV because this is no DVR, right? So
Yeah,
like,
this is well actually, you know what? I think DVRs might have just been coming out around this time because this was the time.
might have been early TiVo,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, like early TiVo or when Comcast finally decided that they wanted to give everyone an extra like 200 channels that you had this big gigantic box inside of your house with a big old remote.
That you can somehow still lose.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's funny because I found one in a box about maybe 2 weeks ago, like an old Comcast remote, and I programmed it to work on our DVD player.
Oh, nice.
So good stuff. But yeah, this was when you had to be either smack dab right in front of your TV or know how to work a TiVo, which was brand new, and teaching people how to do that right off the bat. Like I had no idea. Like I missed so many episodes of some of my shows that I kind of wish that I knew how to work TiVo and do the bloop, 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 bloop. Like, oh man. You remember that sound?
And somehow, as DVRs got more advanced, the fast forwarding technology got worse.
Yes.
TiVo had really good fast forward and rewind, and now it's fine. You know, like obviously I'm not like, sitting here complaining, but it's like you could zip through something on TiVo, even on 4 times on a regular DVR. You're still sitting there going, motherfucker.
Do you remember before people in commercials got all butthurt? Do you remember when TiVo used to have that feature where you can skip a commercial?
That was the button. That's the button. If I could get one button back on my current DVR, it's just skip all commercials. Because if I could just hit one button and skip 3 minutes,
it was the best button. But someone got all mad that people weren't watching the commercials anymore because they would just zip right through it with the TiVo. Like that was the best button back in the day. Man, I missed that button.
Yeah, Scrubs, really good show. I got into it more on syndication.
Same here.
Like but I got caught up to it to the point where when they did that final season on ABC, that even the stars really don't count. I was watching that live, and I'll give them a free plug that they'll probably never hear. But if you enjoy what we do with Pokemon, the 2 stars of Scrubs, Zach Braff and Donald Faison,
yes,
they have their own rewatch podcast.
Oh, do they now?
Called Fake Doctors, Real Friends, and they go through an episode of Scrubs. It used to be twice weekly, but they have pared back to once a week because I believe Zach has a project that he needs to focus on. They are already into the 3rd season. Their episodes are about an hour and a half.
Do you listen to any of these?
It's on my sub list. Yeah, it's one of my and now that it's once a week, now it's a real highlight.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I have to ask you on a personal level. So
I refuse to answer personal questions.
Oh, shush. So me knowing you personally, I know you listen to a lot of podcasts. So and I know you listen to all podcasts the way that you think that they should be listened to on 2 times speed.
Yes, the only way.
The only way. So how many podcasts can you say that you actually listen to on a weekly basis? And how do you get through your day? Yes, this is a Pokemon podcast, but I'm kind of curious right now. How many do you actually listen to a week?
A week?
Yes, 7 days.
Well, I can't give you a week, but I can give you the past.
Or how many can you get through in a day if you're really, if you have no video games, so you're not doing any PS4ing?
Well, no, but that's the thing. That's what you do.
Oh, you play it. Oh, I gotcha. I see.
It's background stuff, man. I walk, I shower, I game.
What about when you're watching wrestling?
I watch wrestling.
Wow, you actually put a podcast on during wrestling.
That's why I don't do fucking commentators. I can mute a match, watch the match, listen to the show.
Gotcha.
I only unmute when somebody's got a mic in their hand.
Okay.
sometime lately, I haven't even been doing that.
Randy Orton came out this week, and you're like,
I was
yeah,
like,
I don't.
motherfucker, it's the same shit.
Same promo week 5. So, all right. So let's put a pin on the Scrubs. It's a great show. You guys should watch it if you haven't seen it. And we can go ahead and get on into this week's Pokemon episode.
Yes. Very good episode. Very much an isolated episode.
But they do kind of, I mean, we're going to get right into it, but they do kind of pick right up from last week's episode.
Well, no, well, we should say, because I made a point of this on the pre-record, pardon me, and I wanted to get this on the show because I really think this might be the first time it's happened. This is the first time that we started an episode and went to the title screen without seeing the main 3.
Yes, you told me this off air, and I had to think about that. I was like, wow. I was like, you're right. Like we start. So let's go ahead and get on into it. So this week's episode started with the voice of a lady, a young lady, and the camera's panning up to this rock that's in the shape of a girl. So, and she's speaking that she will always be there and she will always be waiting for you, and she's here and she's not ever going anywhere. And she has a nice little flower, like a brand new flower in her hair. And from here,
I didn't catch that. That's a good. I didn't catch that the flower was
brand
shiny.
new.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there saying that she's waiting, and then the camera starts panning away, and then you see coming out of this statue, which is kind of being highlighted by a real girl, turns into Ghastly, and Ghastly just jumps out at you, and you go straight into the title screen.
Yeah, like you don't even have a second to think, and putting yourself in the head of a kid that's watching this, like watching this today. I can point this out because I did it. I went back. Like,
oh, you went back?
Well, because he does come out of nowhere, right?
Yes.
So like, oh, that was neat. Let me go back and rewatch that. But you couldn't do that on first watch as a kid. You're like, did that fucking ghost just come out of that fucking rock?
Yeah, you're like, okay, what was that? Especially if you're watching Pokemon, say you're not even playing the game. So you're like, what the fuck was that Pokemon? They have ghost Pokemon?
Yeah, we're not all Ash who can just pull out a Pokédex willy-nilly and just figure shit out. Boy, did that Pokédex get a workout today, boy.
Oh, yeah. So we start off this week's episode right after that, after the title screen, straight to the boat where we left our adventurers last week. So they're leaving Porta Vista, and they're on the boat, and Ash and Misty are actually pretty happy being on this boat. And then here comes gloomy Brock going, yeah, I'm not so happy right now. And Ash is kind of like, well, why? He's like, because summer is over. And this was one of my favorite parts of this episode. And Ash was like, but we had a summer full of adventure. And Brock just sits here and he's like, yeah, for you, adventure is perfectly fine. But for me, summer is about bikinis and bathing suits and half-naked women. And we didn't see any of these. And now I got to wait all the way until next year to be able to see this. I was dying.
Which is not true. They spent a whole episode at a beach.
I know. Did we just miss what we meant? Like what just happened? Like you
remember, we're not supposed to acknowledge that.
Apparently. Yeah, that beach episode never happened.
Yeah, so yeah, Brock was this really hit you over the head. It's like Brock is going through puberty. And I don't know if this was just me, but I noticed in this scene in particular, Brock's voice was extremely different.
It was. And honestly, I mean, I believe all of them were a little different because I think this is the episode where they kind of started getting into their niche and maybe let me look up the dates that these aired. So this one, no, it aired a week after. So this was already in the can in Japan. So, huh. I don't know. Because I noticed it on Ash's voice too.
See, I didn't pick it up on it. I just picked it up on Brock in that instance in particular.
All right.
I don't.
So for all of our listeners, kind of tell us what you heard.
I don't know. It just sounded like, and I know this wasn't the thing because it's a kids show, right?
Yeah.
But it almost sounded like they told the guy, they're like, all right, make Brock sound like he's in pain, like being horny hurt.
Like being horny hurt.
Yeah,
That's the best thing you can come up with.
that's what I got.
That's the line of the podcast.
That's what I got.
Being horny hurts. All right, good stuff. I like it. But yeah, he was so mad. Like he was so distraught that he was on the ground with a spotlight on him. Just
He was
shouting.
shaking. He was shaking.
Like, I need bikinis. I need boobs. I need women.
And we've said this on a couple different occasions. This is obviously pre-internet.
Yes.
So, old Brock couldn't exactly hop into a room and just,
I'm sure Playboy was still a thing.
well, yeah, but you're talking
A 15-year-old getting an adult magazine.
right. Which, people got uncles and shit, so I don't know.
Hey, I got my first Playboy from my stepdad, actually. He brought me the Christy Hemme.
And your buddy burnt it.
Yes. But okay. Outside of that, on a side note, and I know that we're not a Digimon podcast, but Digimon.
I threatened it and you didn't like it, so I don't.
Shut up. Digimon just came out with a brand new movie, right? And it's supposed to be their like big farewell movie.
Oh.
Yeah. So they brought back all the original characters, but they're adults. Okay.
Well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they're all adults, and I guess once you become an adult, you can no longer have your Digimon with you.
Oh.
So they were on a timeline, and the more they evolve their Digimon, the less time that they have with their Digimon. But it was just funny, and I'm not going to go and give out the whole movie because it's not that podcast. But I just thought it was funny because they introduced alcohol, sex, drugs, and all that type of stuff in a Digimon movie.
Well,
Like-
you can find that in Pokemon. You just got to go to the right hentai pages.
Well, yeah, but have Pokemon actually have an adult mag, like the Agumon, who is the low orange dinosaur. He goes back with his trainer to his room, and Agumon finds porno magazines in his room, and he's like, "Ooh, these girls are pretty." He's like, what are they doing?" And his trainer just grabs him and goes, "You can't look at these. You have to be an adult. These are for me." And gets all red, and just it was funny.
Oh, that's where you were. I was like, how in the hell is he connecting what I just? Okay.
So yeah, just I just wanted to throw that in there. I just watched that movie last night, and I was like, oh, this was a good movie, and this happening in this TV show just brought it back into my memory. I was like, oh, this just happened in the cartoon I was watching. Good stuff.
So you're saying if Brock was in the Digimon universe, he'd be all right.
Oh yeah, he'd be able to go in a room and knock one off, but I guess he can't do that. Oh man. So, all right, going further in this episode. So you remember last week how Team Rocket was in a barrel?
Yeah, they were being towed along, yeah, in a barrel, and they
Yes.
said, "Well, we'll get them next time,"
Yep. Well, they're still in that barrel in this episode.
which I liked. I I appreciate the fact that they didn't just ignore the fact that they left the last episode by being drugged in a barrel.
Yes. So so they're in the barrel, they're all depressed, they're looking in the water, and James wants some room service. He's hungry, they're all hungry, but they need to get onto the boat. But at this point, we end up going straight from them to the boat docking. So I mean, I don't know about you, but like actually like watching the show, it's fine, but reviewing it, is it kind of annoying that we jump from one extreme to another? Like they're being tugged around, and then all of a sudden, the next scene, the boat's
Careful
docked.
now.
Shut up. So, and then the next scene is the boat is docked and there's a big festival going on. Like that's two real big extremes.
Well, yeah, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. You only have 20 minutes. Less than that if you factor in the freaking theme song every week and
Yeah,
the Poke Raps.
yeah, I was about to say the Pokey Rap, the theme song, the commercial break. Oh, we didn't even give the who's that Pokemon of this episode. It's Ghastly.
Well, I was gonna say that's a layup.
Well, they fooled you on the last couple.
They didn't fool me last week. They made me think, and I didn't appreciate it.
You're like, well, why? Why? So, so all right. So on this episode, as we just stated, they're now at a festival. There's a big festival going on, and it's at this point that Rock sees a very beautiful woman standing at the edge of a dock.
Well, and this is after he volunteered to ride the Ferris wheel by himself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got all off, and Brock was still all depressed, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll just go and ride this Ferris wheel all by myself, and just you guys can just go along." And then he sees the most beautiful woman of his life.
And he got real dumbstruck real quick.
Like it was to the point where he didn't know this woman, but he was willing to do anything for her. But at this point, everybody it's like they were the first to get off the boat, because after he's looking at this girl, there's a herd of people that are getting off of the boat, and they just trample Brock. And then we see the girl turn into Ghastly, look at the camera, and vanish. And Pikachu saw it happen, but doesn't know how to really put two and two together.
Which is weird because we saw very early if Pikachu was determined to do something, he could have played. Yeah, I was gonna try to make
Charades.
a Pokemon. Well, I was gonna try to make like a Pokemon like charades pun, but I couldn't quite do it. But yeah, he could have acted it out if he really gave enough of a shit.
I don't think Pikachu really knew what he saw, because at this point we haven't seen any ghost Pokemon in the Pokemon series yet, have we? No, we
No,
haven't.
that's a fair point. That is a fair point.
So Pikachu might not even know what a Ghastly is.
No, I mean, but I kind of figured maybe Pokemon just recognized Pokemon just because, Pokemon, but Pikachu up till what, 2 months ago was sheltered,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, not really. So I'm gonna jump ahead into the future. I guess there's a short episode when Pikachu is a Pichu, and Pikachu actually used to like roam the earth and have a whole bunch of fun and used to get into a little bit of mischief before he turned into a Pikachu.
Oh, that must have been before one of the movies.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, he Pikachu as a Pichu used to get into a little bit of mischief, and I still want to see the story of Pikachu getting captured by Professor Oak or whoever captured Pikachu to get Pikachu to come back over to Professor Oak.
Yeah, because you know, throwing away a line of "Oh, that Pokemon doesn't seem to like Pokeballs" it passed at the time, but now that we've got time to think and write fan theories on the internet, it doesn't pass anymore.
I know.
Why doesn't Pikachu like Pokeballs?
Why?
Did Professor Oak literally chase him down?
Yeah. And I mean, because Professor Oak did say that Pikachu was very temperamental.
And he was in that Pokeball with the lightning bolt on it.
Yes. So
I just, that's at least, a mini movie or something.
I'm sure they've gone over it and it's in a future episode, and I'm just gonna have to wait and watch it because I'm going one episode at a time. Right now I'm in Pokemon Advanced Battle, so I think I'm getting to the end of Advanced Battle, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty far up there. So
Brock is distracted and upset because he saw the most beautiful woman, and now she's gone, and he hears a voice behind him, and he turns around thinking, well, that must be her, and he's right smack in the face with this old hag, for lack of a better term.
yeah, well, we did kind of jump a little further. So remember, at this point, right after they picked up Brock, Team Rocket looks up and looks over, basically looks over the dock because the boat's docked. They can get out. They can roam around now. And James sees the girl as well.
I see.
And he becomes starstruck over this girl as well. So this episode revolves around Brock and James being like in love with this ghostly woman.
I'm gonna fight you on James being in love.
Oh, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. So you don't think he was in love with her?
No.
Okay.
No.
But well, I mean, he had the heart-shaped eyes on when he saw her.
Yeah, but I don't think his love was the same love that Brock had. I think his love was more of an infatuation.
He just wanted to get
in. Well, no, I don't even know. I mean, we'll get into it, but they were at two different levels, I think.
Okay.
James and Brock. So yeah, James sees her, and then as Brock is being dragged away,
they run into another Agatha and Nastina like woman.
Yeah, because you kind of made the comment, didn't these three kind of sound similar? And I was like, that was probably just a fact of it's another old/ugly woman. We don't need to get another voice actor in here. She can just do something different with her voice real quick for a couple of lines.
Yeah, but okay, but did she not sound just like Nastina and Agatha?
I would have to listen to her. I mean, it's been about 2.5 hours since I watched that episode.
Gotcha.
And I have the memory of a goldfish.
No, you got a great memory.
That's not true at all.
But long story short, with the woman, she ends up making fun of Misty in the exchange talking about like beautiful women. There, she's talking about The Rock and how the girl over in The Rock. The story is that um, her her boyfriend went off to war and she swore that she would stay there until he came back, but he ended up dying in the war, never came back, and she never left her spot. So she ended up turning into a stone, which is the stone that everyone seems to be infatuated with. Um,
Males.
yeah, males seem to be infatuated with on this cliff. And Misty kind of thinks of herself as this like very pretty woman, gets called scrawny by the old lady, and Ash backs her and is like, yeah, she sure is scrawny, isn't she? And Misty just bashes Ash in the head and goes, I don't have to take this.
Drags them both away. Brock because dumbstruck, and Ash because he's theoretically unconscious. Um, and then we get a quick scene of Team Rocket literally hunting the floors
For money.
for change because Jesse makes a comment about how at these festivals people tend to be kind of
Loose with their money.
haphazard with their money. Yeah, loose with their money. And James tracks down a quarter, or a penny rather.
And Officer Jenny ends up seeing him pick it up and was like, I know exactly what you were going to do. You were going to turn that in. A whole penny.
And she's like, even a penny needs to be accounted for. And she's about to haul Team Rocket off to the station. Jesse makes some excuse. Oh, we wouldn't want to get in the way. They bolt.
Yes.
Because
they right before Officer Jenny got there, the little old lady that was just with Ash in the gang sees them, and she's like, I can tell you guys are up to no good. But then Officer Jenny comes, and this was Team Rocket's way of getting out of there without getting arrested.
Right. And then we got to the big crowd with the unveiling of the
painting
of the Woman of the Rock, and we get the full backstory, which Chris just kind of went into.
Yes.
And even seeing a painting of this woman is enough to completely transfix James and Brock.
They were so infatuated because they're like, whoa, that's the girl that was on the rock.
And then, to your point, we have another one of these dramatic smash cuts to the point where they're on a pier looking out at the rock, both sets of both groups, I should say. And Brock and James are both pledging their undying allegiance to this rock woman. James says, if she was my girlfriend, I would never let her leave my sight. And James is willing to go over the railing to protect her from Team Rocket, which ends up costing both him and Jesse.
I know, because Jesse had to hold on to him, and she was holding on to him by his pants. Then she let go. He falls over the rail, and Jesse has to grab him, and then it's just all downhill from there.
Literally, because they both... What the fuck is Meowth doing?
Meowth is just standing there going, well, these are the people that I live with.
Well, I'm a cat, remember? I don't particularly like water. Well, that's a cop-out. And then we have this scene. It's getting dark, and Misty and Ash are ready to go into the Pokémon Center where they're going to bunk down for the night.
Yep.
And
isn't that convenient that anyone and everyone can go to the Pokemon Center just to go and sleep?
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because, they didn't do hotels for whatever reason. So they kind of had to, because, you're a trainer, you're going from city to city. You don't, and they didn't do the easy route and say, oh, there's Poke hotels.
Yeah.
So it's nice that they kind of wrote that in because I mean, we have seen them camping.
Yes. Yes, we have. So at this point, yeah, they're ready to go and call it a night. And they're talking to Brock, and Brock is like, you know what, I'll be there in just a few minutes. Just go ahead, head inside, basically, find us a spot to sleep, and I'll be in soon. They go inside, and Misty and Ash are just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the gates start closing around the Pokemon Center.
How do you
And
feel about the Pokemon Center having gates?
I know. and and the gates start closing around it, and Ash is like, whoa, Brock's not here yet. And basically Nurse Joy comes out and goes, there's a curfew. You're a trainer. Don't you know the curfew around here is 11 o'clock? So at 11 o'clock, if you're not in here, you're stuck out there. So Ash and Misty are now forced to stay inside of this Pokemon Center without Brock. And Brock is locked out. He's done for the night.
And that's what we see.
Nurse Joy had a yellow logo thing on her hat, by the way.
Son of a bitch! That's what I should have been looking at. Yep, there it is, yellow little cross. So yeah, the gates close, and that's all we see of Ash and them. And then we cut up in a tree where Team Rocket is
hanging themselves.
Now, come on now. We can make all the sexual jokes we want.
True. Okay. I'm sorry if that offended anyone. They have a rope tied around their sleeping bags, and they're all hanging in their sleeping bags like what's like a cocoon.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's where they got it from, to be honest, because they've done that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and something we did skip over, which is relevant. Team Rocket made a plan to steal the painting of the Woman of the Rock.
Yes.
So they're hanging in the sleeping bags, and Meowth's alarm clock goes off, and he says, "Hey, it's time to wake up and steal the painting." Well, Jesse and James aren't moving.
So what does Meowth do?
Well, he tries to wake him up. Obviously, he tries to do. He doesn't do anything because the wind picks up.
Well, okay, so it's at this point. Well, you forgot that Ghastly basically walks out of the place where the painting is, and it's in the shape of that girl, and Meowth gets freaked the fuck out.
Well, yeah, because he's the only one that's awake at the time, because obviously he's the one with the alarm clock in his bag, and so Meowth sees the lady and passes out, and then James wakes up and sees the lady.
Well, it's not that he passes out. Ghastly uses some type of sleeping attack and puts him back to sleep.
Well, it's a form of passing out.
Yeah, true.
And then James sees the lady, and then we do a cut to Brock, and Brock has a conversation with the woman.
The painting. Yeah.
And then we do another quick cut to the morning, where Jesse and Meowth and Pikachu, Misty, and Ash are on opposite sides of this, and they kind of do a back into each other thing, and at that point we get the Who's That Pokemon, which is Ghastly.
Yes. And it's funny because Ash's like, "Oh, it's you," and then as soon as commercial's over, he's like, "Oh, are you guys looking for James? Because we're looking for Brock." like completely changed. Like, imagine if you were watching this and you didn't have the Who's That Pokemon in the middle. Like, this would be a weird scene to kind of cut from. because they went from being mad to, oh, are you looking for him?
So I don't on the versions that I watch, I don't get the who's that Pokemon,
Okay.
and usually I can't tell. But there was a really hard cut in this particular episode. I was like, that's where who's that Pokemon was.
I was wondering where you if you were watching a different version this time.
No, I mean it was just they didn't do a good job of doing a final blend or something, or I just happened to be paying attention this week. I don't know. So yeah, Jessie feels obligated to do Team Rocket's intro by herself, which is awkward.
It was hilarious. She had the flower and everything, and she even was like, never mind. This is kind of a drag.
Well, and no, because she gets to the names, and she's no, she doesn't even get to. She says a line.
Well, she says that she says it's a drag right before she starts doing it, and then she's like, "Well, I got to do it," and then goes and gets all into it, and yeah, once she gets to James, she stops, and her eyes droop down, and then they all just start looking around for James and Brock. She doesn't even finish.
Because James is doing his part. I think because doesn't he do like to protect the world from devastation or something?
Yeah, he was inside of the little hut that they're standing in front of.
Yeah.
And so he's being controlled and then tossed out by a ghost Pokemon, which we don't know at this time. All Ash and the gang see is James just flying out of the hut. And then right behind him is Brock.
And they're on the ground and they're giggling and they're delirious. And they're trying to snap him out of it. And what does that mean? Well, that means Pikachu's got to shock somebody.
Yeah, and then we get good old Agatha's sister's cousin's second mother. She's back.
Sister's cousin second. Okay.
You had to put that together?
Yeah, just for my own benefit. And then she gets like the Captain Obvious moment of the episode. She says, "Oh, all men are all men that are witness to her beauty are powerless to resist her charm or something or other."
Yeah, basically saying all men are weak when they come across the statue.
Because we had a moment where it looked like Brock was going to recover after the shock, but that was just a blip in the system.
Yeah.
So we're in this old lady's hut, and she says, "Well, there's one way to ward off the evil spirit. It's stickers."
And it's not even just that, but this woman was just after money because she's like, we can do this, but I'm not going to give away these stickers for free. You're going to have to pay for it. And she opens up a cash register.
And then we get a good one of my favorite little things. We get the good anime feint from Ash. She's like, "Well, these stickers aren't cheap." And Ash kind of goes, "Ah, yeah." And then we do a quick cut of them putting stickers all over the hut
and all over Brock and James.
And and this is where I think they're on different levels, because Brock is trying to fight it in some respects, but then when he starts kind of thinking about her, he kind of gets kind of glassy-eyed. And James is 100% against everything that's going on. He's like, "I don't want to be possessed. I don't want to go anywhere. This is going to work, right? This better work. I want this to." And he's crying and shit. And then,
yeah, because it's at this point we do a hard cut from the daytime to the nighttime, and the wind starts kicking up, and the wind blows away all the stickers off of the hut, and After all the stickers go away, we go to the inside and the doors just blow right open. And there's the ghost of the girl. And everybody can now witness this girl as a ghost. And man, watching this like at night as a child, this might actually scare you. Like this, they made this episode pretty dark.
Phooey.
Oh, come on. Watching this as a 7 or 8 year old and if you had no light on, you're telling me you wouldn't be a little spooked?
No, because I told you I'm watching this at 7 in the morning.
True.
So if I'm thinking about anything, I'm thinking about the math test I don't want to take.
or you're that child where the parent recorded the episode and you're watching it at night right before WWE.
No, I wasn't that kid.
Oh, damn. But yeah, at this point, yeah, Brock says that he'll basically do anything for this girl, and he just levitates.
Yeah, he's just gone. He doesn't give a shit. He's still cross-legged. And Ash and Misty are chasing him out the door, and James is trying to hang on with everything he's got. And
he's like, I don't want her anymore. This girl is possessed. He said, oh my God, help me.
And he's like, well, I thought you said the stickers were going to work. And Jesse's like, well, we kind of got a deal. We got a free set for every set that they bought. And we don't think these work when they're freebies. And James is like, I can't believe you're going to let me get taken because you're tightwad.
But it's at this point that we get the funniest thing with Brock. Brock, at this point, starts just circling in the air. And then when he goes out the door, he's completely upside down, still cross-legged.
Doesn't care. Just doesn't just as happy as a pig in shit.
He's just like gleaming from ear to ear. And Ash and Misty are like, is Brock like for real right now? Like, is this for real? Like, has horniness really gotten this bad for Brock?
Now, this is where I'm gonna kind of get off of the horniness because I think at this point it's bordering into loneliness.
Oh, so you think but he has Ash and Misty. How can you be lonely?
Well, yeah, but I would imagine at this point he probably thinks of them as like his brother and sister.
True.
You know, I mean, not to mention we had the awkwardness with the beach a couple of episodes ago.
Misty had a good talking with Brock off screen.
Now listen here, I'm entitled to wear a bikini if I want to wear a bikini. You pervert.
So, yeah, at this point, James ends up getting blown away as well, just like Brock. And Brock is basically going over a railing where Misty and Ash have to then grab him by the legs because basically if he were to go over this railing, he could fall down to his death. And then same with James. James was getting ready to go over this railing as well.
And then freaking James shoots a flamethrower through the ghost.
No, not James, Jesse.
Jesse shoots a flamethrower through the ghost. And James is happy for a minute because he's like, oh, you care. And she's like, well, it's not about you. It's about girls like her, thinking they can be all pretty and shit.
Now, let's kind of call Jesse an asshole because at least Misty and Ash grab Brock by the damn legs. They let James just get carried over the damn bridge, and then they shoot the ghost, and the ghost lets go, and James just drops into the water and has to climb up the damn mountain again.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, somebody's got a flamethrower. I'm gonna let them do their thing.
True, but where the fuck does she get a damn flamethrower?
Well, that's the other thing, but it's a kid's show. And then we get a little bit of the ghost kind of explaining herself. She's like, you can't interfere with this. This is true love. And then
Ash takes out the good old Pokedex.
yeah, because the the image of the woman transforms into like the image of like 5 or 6 ghosts.
Yeah, like she transforms into like a demon, and then out behind her comes out all these like skulls. It's like ghosts, but they're just in the shape of like skulls, like very scary skulls.
So Ash is trying his damnedest
What
to
Pokemon is this?
and you know we get the dreaded 404 not found.
And look at Misty in that freeze frame, bro. Like Misty she's scared shitless right now, and I'm surprised she didn't just bash Ash in the head and was like, "Are you fucking trying to really look and find out what Pokemon this is while all of this is going on? Seriously, Ash?"
Well, I don't really take her being scared for much of anything because she's scared of goddamn Caterpie.
That's true.
Um, so yeah, Dexter is still trying to figure stuff out, and eventually he does kind of catch a reading of Ghastly, and then it was like, oh, we don't use Ghastly's usually invisible. Um, what did it say its strength was?
Let's see. His specialty is hypnosis.
Specialty is hypnosis.
So basically, the Pokedex is staring at the girl because of course, as we found out in the beginning of the episode, Ghastly has taken the form of this girl, and not only is Ghastly taking the form of this girl, Ghastly is talking like a human.
Yeah, I mean, full on sentences, just all the exposition you could want.
So I don't know kind of how to take that, or if all Ghastly should be able to take the form of humans and make them talk. But that was a little weird in itself. But yeah, Ash is looking straight over at the girl, and the girl looks like a straight up like demon, like she is like possessed. And are you kind of mad that Ash doesn't end up getting we within the next few episodes, Ash is going to see ghost Pokemon, and Ash does not get a damn ghost Pokemon.
I thought he got a hunter. Pardon me.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. No, he doesn't catch it though. Haunter just follows him.
Oh, well then Ash is an idiot in a couple episodes.
So, but
yeah, no, and I did kind of have that momentary thought because once Ghastly reveals itself, Ash's knee-jerk reaction is, well, Ghastly, it's time for a battle. It's like, oh, good. He remembered he's a Pokemon trainer and he can battle it and catch it. No, he just wanted to get rid of him. It's like,
yeah,
idiot.
Yeah, and not even just that, but Ash at this point, I mean, we end up finding a big twist in this story that there's not only one Ghastly, but then the old lady that was just there, she flies into the air and goes, "Ha, you figured out our plan," basically, and fucking transforms into like a bigger Ghastly than what the other one is. And just starts talking full-blown sentences.
Gotcha.
Like, oh my God. I was like, okay, so there's not only one, there's two.
So
I was like,
I really want to get into this battle because it's probably one of the best sequences we've had of the 20 episodes of this show.
I'm gonna let you break down this battle because you kind of made it a little funnier off air before we were recording. So go ahead and give this nice little play-by-play of Pikachu, Charmander, and the gang.
So Ash's first move obviously is Pikachu, and Ghastly says, "Oh, I know how to take care of a little rat," and he turns into a fucking mousetrap.
A fucking mousetrap.
And that sends Pikachu running. And then we get a quick smash to Meowth, and Meowth says, "Well, a mousetrap isn't going to stop Meowth," and then he turns into a friggin' cat toy, and that distracts Meowth, and and then Ash is like, well, no," and then we get Jesse calls out Ekans, and Ekans goes, "Well, a snake's natural predator is a mongoose," and that scares Ekans off, and then James is sitting there. He's still catatonic, but Jesse tags him in, and James sends out coughing. And then we get a freaking the same mongoose is wearing a freaking gas mask, and we get a Smokey the Bear reference. And then Ash throws out Charmander, and the freaking Ghastly turns into a fire extinguisher, and we get the Charmander run, which we've seen like I think twice at this point, where Charmander's protecting his tail because if you remember, if Charmander's tail goes out, he's dead in the middle of all of this. And then Ash tries to get
Everyone's trying to kill this fucking Charmander. No wonder when he becomes a damn teenager, he doesn't want to.
He says,
obey.
"Fuck this shit."
I've almost died like 10 times being with this trainer.
And then Ash tries to get smart, and he throws out Bulbasaur and Squirtle. And then we get Venusaur and Blastoise, who we were introduced to in the giant Pokemon episode.
And they're about just as tall as the damn giant Pokemon in that episode.
Right. And then just to fuck with him, he says, "Well, we'll combine them into Venusaurs." And fucking freaking
okay, tell everybody what Venusaur is.
Venusaur is a smashed up, literally a smashed up version of Blastoise and Venusaur. So it's got Blastoise's water cannons, but then it's got freaking Venusaur's headdress and leaves and shit. And
Blastoise fucked a Venusaur, and that's what they came up.
That's what you get.
It's such an ugly Pokemon, but I want one so bad.
And I was gonna say, watch that be in Pokemon Go in the next update.
I know.
So they're petrified, and then Misty goes, "Well, what do you think of this?" And she holds out a cross, and he's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do with that?" And she goes, "Well, I don't know, but I've also got garlic, a stick, and a hammer." And he goes, "What am I, a vampire?" I was on the floor. I was like, "This is it. This is the sequence. This is."
And then the bell starts ringing, and that's when this whole battle starts making a drastic turn, because it's about to be morning time, and Ghastly can't be out during the morning, apparently.
No, because he does say, "I might not be a vampire, but I don't like the morning," and he vamooses basically. Well, he fades away.
But okay, and this is where I'm going to start depicting this episode, because we're at the end of the episode now. But when Ash and the gang docked with their boat, was Ghastly not out in the bright of day and then turned into Ghastly again and vanished?
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
So you choose now in the heat of battle, and you're actually winning this damn battle, to fucking disappear and go away? Man, fuck Ghastly.
Well, no, but see, at this point, he wouldn't have the element of surprise. He could do it once or twice to catch somebody out the corner of their eye, but now they would see it. Now they would expect it.
True, but he was winning.
Well, I know, but he's a bad guy in a kid's cartoon.
I know, and they only have a minute and a half left.
This is also true.
So, at the end of this battle, it's now morning again, and then it immediately turns nighttime again. I hate these cutscenes. Like, we literally go from morning to nighttime within 5 seconds. I just watched it, 5 seconds. And they're all the trainers in the town are putting lanterns in these little mini boats for all the spirits and all the people that died in that war.
Which is, a nice little moment. And then, we get a scene we're at the actual party, and we see that Ash is still kind of kicking the whole ghost Pokemon thing around in his head.
He doesn't think that all that happened.
No, I think he's kind of trying to come to grips with it or trying to explain it away or something. And
So
Misty comes up and she's all dolled out and she goes, "Oh, it's time to dance." So then we just forget about it.
yeah, we went over one big part of this. So as they're putting the boats in the water, the Ghastly is now going away. Well, one of the Ghastlies are going away and is going to find, I guess, happiness somewhere else, or he can now go off to wherever Pokemon Heaven is, or do whatever he's gonna do. But then you can tell he's talking to the statue, and out comes the other Ghastly, and the other Ghastly just comes out and says that basically it's never going to leave; it's going to stay there. So is this going to be a revolving door?
Now, I have a question.
What's up?
Could this not actually be the ghost of this woman?
Well, I mean, she turned into a Ghastly.
Did she?
Yeah, well, at the beginning of the episode.
But that's not.
Oh, okay,
That
okay.
wasn't her. That was
Yeah,
just. That was him
fucking
being
with.
transforming into the physical manifestation of this woman.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, out of this, because Ghastly's going away and Ghastly starts making some jokes, and then she says that she's never going to leave this spot and that she'll always be here for when her lover returns. So that's the real girl.
Right. And then that's when he says, "Well, I am a ghost Pokemon. Perhaps I can
I can
come
go
back
find her.
one day." Or yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Ghastly basically says that he'll go out and find Mr. Right and he'll be back. But um just a spoiler, everybody, we don't ever get an update to this episode.
Ah, poop.
I know. I
Ah,
know.
I quit.
At least not that I've seen so far. I mean, I do know in Pokemon Journeys that Ash is going back to all the spots that he visited in the early days. So we might end up getting a follow-up to this episode at some point. But for right now, we have not.
Well, 20 episodes is a good run.
I know. So so yeah, she thanks Ghastly for going out to find her to find her lover. And at this point, Brock is all sad again because basically he had fallen in love, but he had fallen in love with a ghost. And James comes out and starts banging a drum, and everyone starts dancing. But Misty actually looks good. Misty came out in a kimono, and so is Ash. Ash is in a kimono too. I want to know where he got these. But yeah, there it's festival time, just like in the beginning of the episode. So they all start dancing.
And that's
And
it.
yeah, and that
Honestly, it should have ended with. They should have flipped the last couple scenes around. It should have ended with Ghastly talking with the woman of the rock.
yeah, like they should have easily have had them dancing and all happy and then just fade away. And then you get that happy moment that Ghastly's gonna come back one day with her lover. And then
Because
you
it started
just
with them, it should have ended with them. They copped out with the party.
yeah. And then you could have easily have had the fade away up to like a moon or something, and then the to be continued right at the bottom. But that's just us nitpicking. So yeah, this was a good episode, Doug.
It's good. Like I say, that battle sequence is probably one of the top things we've seen in the duration of this podcast so far. Um,
It was just that was just hilarious. It was
had
that was good.
had some funny one-liners. Had a decent story. Um, yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's a one-off episode. I mean, if you missed this episode, you didn't really miss much, but it's fun to see that Ash and them are actually having a little bit of fun, or to see Ash let his hair down for once and just go out and just have fun and help and just be a kid.
yeah. we got a little bit of that obviously at the end with the party that was kind of tacked on, I felt like. But even then, before Misty came out, you could see, like we were talking about, he was kind of kicking around the whole thing in his head.
Yeah.
And we see obviously, spoilers for a couple episodes from now, this doesn't go away.
No. So Ash is now acquainted with ghost Pokemon. So come a few episodes from now, when we finally get into the trilogy that we're going to be covering in just a little in about 2 weeks now. We're going to start covering that episode, and those are going to be a doozy.
Yeah, I'm excited um to talk about those. It's going to be hard to, and in fact, I might even end up just watching them all three on a shot and just having to go back and retouch base.
Oh, I think you kind of have to.
Well, because that's what I did with St. Anne's, and then the shipwreck, and then the subsequent third episode, which wasn't a third episode, but it was a third episode.
Island of the Giant Pokemon. So yeah, it's um you're gonna have to kind of sit through. I mean, it only takes an hour. These episodes are like 18 minutes a piece. So if you have an hour to kill, you can easily sit down and watch those episodes straight through.
Well, that's what I
So
did tonight. I was like, oh, it's 7 o'clock. We're supposed to be on here at 8. Let me knock these out, and then I'll find my facts. Well, then shit got away from me.
yeah, same here. So all right, well, that was this week's episode. So this was good, Doug.
This was good. This was not 100% looking forward to next week. Um,
Bye bye Butterfree.
kind of. I went into it thinking it was going to be sad, but
It was more frustrating.
it was just frustrating and more mushy than I was anticipating or remembered.
Yeah.
And
And
and then they copped out at the end with that freaking montage. I was like, oh look, let's not have original footage.
oh, well, let's not give away the whole episode next week. You're gonna cost us downloads, Doug.
They'll come back.
So I was asked, I didn't clear this with you, but I'm sure you don't mind. I was asked to give a shout out on the podcast um for let's see, what's the name of the website? I will get it right now.
Get it right now.
Oh yeah, I got to get it right. For where is it? FeedSpot. There you go. FeedSpot sent me a nice little email. They reviewed our podcast and put us on the top 20 Pokemon podcasts of 2020, and sent us an email today asking for us to kind of give them a nice little plug. And it's a great place if you're looking for podcasts. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of different lists. If you can think of a list, it's probably there. Like you can type in maybe top Dragon Ball podcasts, or top wrestling podcasts, and you'll find it there. So go ahead and give them a listen. It's FeedSpot, and I just wanted to give them a quick shout out because they asked us and they were nice enough to put us on their list, Doug. So we're finally getting some recognition.
I don't know how I feel about there being that many Pokemon podcasts just this year. Well, that's not true. Not just this year, because I was looking at a couple of those. A couple of those have been going since like 16.
Yeah.
But I had a quick scroll on that list, and I was like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate being on it, but I didn't think the Pokemon podcast pool was that deep.
I didn't either. Like I was 100% shocked that there was that many, because I'm pretty sure when I came over to and presented you with this, I was like, I don't think there's that many. I was like, I listened to one. I listened to and I'll give them a plug because I like them enough. Cheap plug, but I listened to Gotta Watch Them All. They kind of do something similar to us, but they're not edgy and they don't curse. So I mean, they have to stay PG on their show.
Excuse me while I get that Eminem line out. Will Smith don't got a cuss in his raps to sell records. Well, I do, so fuck him and fuck you too.
Nice. Oh man, leave it to you, Doug. But
That's first thing that popped in my head when you said they don't curse and they're not edgy.
well, they're not edgy. They are entertaining. They're entertaining as fuck. And but yeah, we
well, no, they're over there getting jiggy with it. I get it.
Yeah. They're the Will Smith of the Pokemon pod. We're the Eminem.
Eminem.
So but yeah, I just want to give Feed Spot a nice little shout out. They're I guess you can kind of say they're one of our sponsors now because they advertise us. So we're out there, and I haven't been asked by the other one, so I'm not going to give them a plug, but we're actually on a few lists now. So we are on a total of 3 lists when you search us on Google now, and we're kind of everywhere. You can find us on Reddit, Twitter, which go ahead and find us on Poke Breakdown on Twitter. Trying to get all of our plugs in, but make sure you use our hashtag ePeep. So yeah, this is pretty good.
Reach out to Gotta Watch Them All. Say, hey, you got a free plug. Reciprocate.
Yeah, reciprocate. Just they said that you're a good podcast. We heard about you through them.
They called you Will Smith. We don't know how you feel about that.
yeah. Maybe don't tell them that part. So, but yeah, I think we're pretty much done because next week is Bye Bye Butterfree, and I don't even have to look up a translation because it's the same in Japanese as it is in English.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah, the exact same title. So, do you have anything else to add this week, Doug?
No, I gotta go clean out my closet.
Getting all those Eminem lines out. All right, well, say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you, don't miss next week's Bye Bye Butterfree episode because it's the last one before the trilogy. Have a good night, everybody.